Scaring bad guys is something Cash has talked about a lot, and you have when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein and the people who are like predators in this country. Yeah. They've been given a pass, and a lot of Americans think these guys have got a pass for a long time, and maybe even are still being protected right now. Where are we at with the Jeffrey Epstein list, the documents? And Cash has made a lot of public statements about this. Where are we at?
I was briefed on that yesterday. I can't talk about that publicly, but President Trump has given a very strong directive, and that's going to be followed.
Wow. Okay. So
a lot of documents.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So people can expect actual movement on this. It's not just empty promises.
Oh, Donald Trump doesn't make empty promises.
Yeah, right.
I think promises made, promises kept, and that's why we're all there to carry out his directive about making America safe and prosperous.
Did you guys catch that? Pam Bondi just confirmed that President Trump has issued a directive regarding the Jeffrey Epstein files. And while she couldn't reveal everything publicly, she made it very clear something big is coming. Now, for years, people have suspected that high-profile elites have been protected, that the full list of Epstein's associates have been hidden, and that there are powerful forces that are working to keep the truth buried. But now we know Trump is not backing down. So the big question is, do you believe Trump will expose the Epstein list? Type drop the files if you think that justice is coming, or type in it's all a cover up if you think that they're never going to let the truth out. Sound off in the comments down below. This is about to get real interesting. So that was Attorney General Pam Bondi from earlier this year. Now, if we fast forward to phase 1 of the Epstein list, and a lot of supporters feel like they're cheated, but it looks like she's out to vindicate herself as the FBI just handed her a ton of files connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Stephen A. Smith smashes Joy Behar of The View with a truth bomb to end all truth bombs. As the liberal host of CNN just can't seem to realize that going up against Scott Jennings is a terrible idea. Now, we've got a lot to talk about in today's video, so let's get it rolling with AG Pam Bondi. And of course, if you appreciate the daily news updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Attorney General Pam Bondi is demanding that the FBI turn over thousands of pages that were missing related to Jeffrey Epstein's investigation by the Southern District of New York, setting a strict Friday deadline for the full disclosure. In a letter to FBI Director Kash Patel, Bondi said that she was tipped off after having only been handed over roughly 200 pages from FBI, while the rest remained hidden at the New York field office of the Bureau. She's now ordered the full and complete Epstein files to be turned into her by Friday, including all records, audio and video recordings, and client information. The push for transparency comes as a Republican lawmaker earlier in the day had sounded the alarm over the potential withholding of some of those files. Congressman Andy Ogles of Tennessee is drafting a Preventing Epstein Documentation Obliteration, or PEDO Act, aimed at preventing the records from being destroyed. He cited reports that some agents in the Bureau had already been trying to wipe some of the files.
Now, remember that Pam Bondi herself said that this was disappointing with the initial release of these files, right? She didn't sugarcoat it. So saying that it's impossible that the files only be around 200 pages. Now, thankfully, we now have Kash Patel within the FBI, and Pam Bondi says that things are about to change here. Now, with that being said, the Attorney General has confirmed that a truckload of evidence connected to the Epstein files has just been delivered by the Bureau.
The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, joins us now live on site. It's great to see you.
Great to see you.
Are you drowning yet? How many weeks in?
Just a few.
Just a few. Let me start with the Epstein case, because there was an expectation that this was going to be bigger. You had the same expectation.
We all did. And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept. Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m., thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Kash is also, now that we have Kash here, it's a game changer, of course, and Kash is going to, Director Patel, is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
Okay, I want to be clear, because I think people got frustrated because they were expecting more. You were expecting more, and you didn't find out less than 24 hours before the release. You got a whistleblower that confirmed that there were way more documents that they were supposed to turn over, and then you found out just before that.
Well, sure. And you're looking at these documents going, these aren't all the Epstein files. You know, there were flight logs, there were names and victims' names. And we're going, where's the rest of the stuff? And that's what the FBI had turned over to us. And so a source said, whoa, all this evidence is sitting in the Southern District of New York. Yep. So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI. Cash is going to get me and himself, really, a detailed report as to why all these documents and evidence had been withheld. And, you know, we're going to go through it as fast as we can, but go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein, because there are a lot of victims.
Well, you had identified in phase one over 254.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, is that the only thing that would be redacted? Will everything else be made public that you get in your possession?
Yeah, the FBI hasn't had, obviously, they haven't looked at the thousands of pages of documents that they've just received Friday. Yeah. But Cash has a team going through them, and it's always about protecting the victim. But you know what? We believe in transparency, and America has the right to know. The Biden administration sat on these documents. No one did anything with them. And why were they sitting in the Southern District of New York? I want a full report on that. You know, sadly, these people don't believe in transparency, but I think more, unfortunately, I think a lot of them don't believe in honesty. And it's a new day, it's a new administration, and everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below. Now, I understand that both Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are working hard to get these files out to the public, although I don't really want to keep my hopes up until we actually get some solid evidence out the door. And beyond that, the American people, we want accountability. Now, if it's proven that these people had a hand in these sick acts, then they should face the law, right? Now, moving on, guys, Democrats are desperate to make it seem as if President Trump is not popular and that his actions have a majority of the country angry, especially when it comes to Doge and the cutting of wasteful spending. Are any of you guys mad about what Doge is doing to save American taxpayers money? Now, I also have to be honest with you guys. There's not many Democrats left on air with common sense in their heads. Although a good example would be Stephen A. Smith. Now, watch how Stephen A. Smith absolutely decimates Joy Behar on her own show with a little common sense as he sticks to the facts. Watch.
It's only been in office for 6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it? And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever, and he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. Yeah. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won the popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted against. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we should continue to do that. Don't continue to do it. Find a new strategy.
Now, if that wasn't bad enough, the same destruction is hitting CNN. Scott Jennings is doing some of the best work of his life, and he's enjoying his spot within the network. That's because it's easy to refute lies when you have truth on your side. And he made that abundantly clear when guests on Abby Phillips' show questioned President Trump's popularity. It's kind of like these people, they don't know when to quit. They have to understand that it's going to be a long 4 years for them, especially since the Democratic Party has no sense of direction at the moment.
Republicans absolutely voted for this.
Okay, people do not want government waste, that's for sure, but they didn't vote for foresters to get fired.
Look,
they didn't vote for the parks to be closed.
Look, you guys,
veterans to be fired.
You guys keep trying to create this fantasy land where Donald Trump is not popular, where Republicans are mad.
Republicans are mad. You shut down the town halls.
Can you name a single Democrat in Congress who's more popular than Donald Trump right now?
Listen,
Answer, no.
Scott,
the reality is Republicans are so happy with this. They're not upset about it.
No, they
The
are.
American people are happy about what's going on right now because for the first time in a long time, a president said,
Scott,
I'm actually going to reduce the size of government.
They can interrupt him all they want. It doesn't make them right. They're annoyed at Scott Jennings because he's right, because he's telling the truth. And President Trump's approval ratings going beyond 50% tells you everything you need to know. Polls also show that 83% of voters are in favor of cutting government expenditures over increasing taxes. Who the heck wants to increase taxes? Nobody. With 77% saying that the entire government's expenditures should be put under the microscope, which is exactly what Doge is doing right now. So it's kind of hard to say that people are really angry about these changes. If anything, they want more of it. Now, I want to link you guys to a recent live stream I covered where the president's first joint session with Congress. Now, you got to check this out because Democrats were so unruly that the House Speaker Mike Johnson was forced to remove one of them from the premises. As always, appreciate y'all hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. We'll see you next time.